The in-laws laughed, giving the black woman the abandoned house, not knowing it was made of gold. When Maya stepped out of the taxi, her heart beat like a drum. She clutched her suitcase tighter, staring at the crooked wooden gate and the weathered house at the end of the path. The windows were boarded, vines had claimed the porch, and the roof sagged as if it were bowing in defeat. This was the home her in-laws had given her. They had laughed when they handed her the keys, their voices dripping with sarcasm. "Since you're marrying into the family, you should have your own place. Don't say we never gave you anything." They chuckled, proud of their mockery, as if giving her a house that looked like a ruin was some kind of cruel joke. Maya stood there, her chest tight with humiliation. She had grown up in a neighborhood where people whispered about her skin, her hair, her heritage, yet she had always held her head high. But this was different. This was her husband's family, and their laughter stung deeper than the words of strangers. Her husband, Daniel, squeezed her hand gently. "Don't mind them," he said. But Maya saw the guilt in his eyes. He came from a wealthy family, and his parents never forgave him for marrying a woman they considered beneath them. She was not what they imagined, yet she was everything Daniel wanted. Still, the weight of their rejection pressed heavy. The house was not just broken wood and dust. It was a symbol. They wanted her to fail. That night, as Maya walked through the creaking floors, she whispered to herself, "If this is the gift they gave me, then I will make it into my blessing." The days turned into weeks, and the work began. Maya rolled up her sleeves, tied her hair back, and started clearing out the rot. She scrubbed walls, pulled weeds, patched leaks, and painted over years of neglect. She used what little money she had saved, stretching every dollar to buy tools and supplies. At first, neighbors shook their heads at her stubbornness. Some even pitied her. The challenges were endless. The roof leaked so badly that during storms, water streamed into buckets she placed in every room. She battled termites, broken plumbing, and endless dust that clung to her lungs. There were days she broke down crying on the porch, her hands blistered and her spirit worn thin. But each time she thought of quitting, she remembered the sound of her in-laws laughing. She remembered the smirk on her mother-in-law's face, the dismissive glance of her father-in-law. They had given her this house expecting her to bow her head in shame. Instead, Maya turned her pain into fuel. Daniel helped as much as he could after work, but Maya was the driving force. She watched videos on home repairs, read books on interior design, and even convinced a few kind neighbors to teach her carpentry tricks. Slowly, the abandoned house began to change. The vines that once choked the porch were cleared away, revealing strong wooden beams. The floors, once warped and uneven, gleamed after weeks of sanding and varnishing. The walls, now painted in warm shades, reflected sunlight that spilled through newly uncovered windows. But the greatest discovery came when Maya decided to check the basement, a place she had avoided for months. With a flashlight in hand, she descended the creaky stairs. At first, all she saw was dust, cobwebs, and old crates. But as she cleared away debris, her eyes caught something, shimmering beneath a layer of dirt. She gasped. Beneath the crumbling concrete wall was a seam of stone that glittered in gold. At first, she thought her tired eyes were deceiving her. But when she scraped at it further, the truth revealed itself. The house had been built on land rich with natural gold deposits. When the news spread, the same neighbors who once pitied her now looked at her with admiration. The woman who had been mocked, dismissed, and underestimated was now the owner of a property worth more than any of her in-laws' lavish homes. Daniel's parents were stunned when they heard. They had tried to play a cruel trick, only to hand her a fortune. Their laughter turned to silence, and their silence to shame. But Maya didn't flaunt her success. She didn't throw their cruelty back in their faces. Instead, she built something greater. With the wealth that came from the land, she transformed the house into a shining home filled with love and laughter, not bitterness. She invested in her community, creating jobs for neighbors and restoring other abandoned houses. She turned pain into purpose. And when people asked her how she did it, she smiled and said, "Never let someone else's laughter define your worth. What looks abandoned to others can hold treasures if you refuse to give up." The house that once stood as a symbol of mockery became a beacon of resilience. Maya proved that no matter how others try to tear you down, faith, hard work, and perseverance could turn even the darkest situations into pure gold. By the end, her in-laws no longer laughed. But Maya did, joyful, free, and unshaken, her laughter echoing in the golden home she had built with her own hands.